Shalom, shalom. All praise to Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shah, Bashem Kakadash. Shalom to all the brothers and sisters out there. Just get right into this one. We'll talk about how the word heals. I guess I'll title it that, if you will, right? The word heals. But it's something I stated before, and I got a few questions on it. So somebody asked how or where the scripture is that talks about, how many times we should, go back and forth with people. Now, it's so many scriptures I could use on that, about 50, but I'm gonna just get into a few, right, and show how the word heals, right? And you can see that right here on the screen. It says you can't bring medicine to people who love to be sick, right? So you don't argue with a fool, right? So the medicine is the word, right? Like the Lord Yahweh Shah told the disciples. So a lot of people say, when you cast out devils, et cetera, et cetera. Well, people think devils, they think demons and all that. Well, remember, the whole Roman Catholic Edomite doctrine, they're devils as well, as a people and all the churches. So when you casting out devils, remember that devils is plural. Matter of fact, let me just get that real quick, right? And then we'll get right into that scripture. But in Matthew chapter 10, right? This is right when the Lord Yahweh Shai was given the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, if you will, to the disciples. Verse 1, right? It says, and he had called up unto him 12 disciples, and he gave them power against unclean spirits to cast them out and to heal all manner of sicknesses, right? And all manner of diseases. Right? But that's also with the word, right? Because like even in Luke, I'm roughly paraphrasing, he says, then he opened their knowledge and gave them the understanding, right? So he had to give it to them. This is nothing you go to theology school for, right? The spirits of the prophets are subject unto the prophets. So if we have this knowledge now, that means Yahweh Shai gave this to us back, in the generation. Right? Back when we were in Rome, if you will, we had it before. We just getting it again. All right. So that's in Matthew 10, right? Now I'm gonna get into what the word heals, right? But more specifically, people's like, well, how many times I need to go back and forth with a person? Or you hear a lot of Israelites say, like, yo, we really only have to tell you one time. After 2 times, Most High really tell us, like, hey, look, be done, if you will, right? And so I'm gonna get right into that, right? Matter of fact, go right to I'm gonna stay here in Matthew 10, right? I go to verse 8 too as well, right? Heal the sick, cleanse the lepers, raise the dead. Now it's talking about the Israelites. You ain't finna go out to your grave or Arlington, Virginia, and tell everybody to get up. Nah, that's not what he's talking about, right? Because remember, Valley of the Dry Bones, can these bones live? The Israelites, it's us here in Babylon, here in America. We physically and spiritually dead, dumb, deaf, stupid, don't know knowledge of who we are, anything, right? So raise the dead, cast out devils. We got to cast out their devilish doctrine, right? Then that's every time Yahweh Shah opened his mouth, he's speaking a parable. So that's also a parable like that. When we casting out devils, yes, there can be, devil, or what they say, demonic spirits in people, yes, but there's also the actual devil described by the Bible, which is Amalek, which is Esau. They devils too, right? Freely you have received, freely you give. That's why, just for me personally, right? I don't put all that stuff in my bio, donations, this, that, because Yahweh Shem Shah, he gonna handle it anyway. He gonna take care of all that stuff anyway. So for some of us, look, man, I don't worry about all that, right? So let me keep going. Let me get right to it. Matter of fact, let's go right here to verse 12, right? So he talking to the disciples, right? So he gave them the understanding of the word, right? He didn't get them a magic wand and go over there and just say, voila, and then look, I healed you. No, the word heals, right? If I tell you, well, you got gout, you got high blood pressure, you got this disease, I can literally tell you by the law what you're supposed to eat and it'll go away, right? You can do, just off topic, an example, you got, cholesterol or diabetes, you could just drink raw okra in a glass of water for about 6 months and it's going to be gone. This is part of the things that's also written in the book of the law that we are to eat. But when people say the law is done away, you won't know these things because you don't even open the law and read it. But you quick to go buy Dr. Sabi's book, right? It's off topic, but look, when we exalt ourselves above the Most High, he judges us. He handles us. The Most High creates good and evil. He allows it. Somebody get killed, the Most High gave the okay. He okayed it. Understand that, right? He got the angels on this I say the holy angels, if you will, right, with the Lord Yahweh on his right hand side, but he got those wicked angels created for vengeance on his left, for vengeance, death, destruction, judgment. He got them on his left hand. He's like the president of the United States, right? When they send the army and stuff out and they say, hey, go bomb this person, he gives the okay. So the Most High sent him, he gives the okay. So he creates good and evil, right? So with that being said, when we have this knowledge, wisdom, understanding, right? Or also in the scriptures, the Most High hates it when people waste the time of a prophet. So if we work with you, been to school with you, sit down in your house, garage, car, all that for days, hours on end, be on the phone with you for hours, and you still not getting it, or you run back and do the same thing, the Most High he'll judge them even worse. He's like, why? Because you wasted my prophet's time. We're gonna get into that. Look at Matthew 10 and 12. He's talking to us, to the disciples, to the prophets, to the servants. When you come into a house, salute it, right? You come into a house, hey, shalom, right? Or you greet it, salute it, but shalom when you come into a house. And if the house be worthy, a lot of times, a lot of the Akims, a lot of brothers say the same thing. I say, like, I go places and they be like, oh man, drop some knowledge. Or they be like, man, tell me some of the stuff that I be seeing you out saying, or tell me some of this. And sometimes you'd be like, nah, bro, I'm chilling. Just, yeah, I'll take a drink though. Like, nah, yeah, I want to play the food. It says if, verse 13, and if the house be worthy, that's up to that disciple. That's up to that prophet. That's up to one of them Israelites. That's up to us. If I come in and we just, nah, you know how what they say today, the vibe, the energy, all that's off. Nah, that's up to us. If you come into the house, right, and if the house be worthy, let your peace, let your shalom come upon it. Then you drop the knowledge. Then you do this. Then you open the floodgates. But if it not be worthy, let your peace return unto you, meaning chill. Don't even nah, it's all good. Hey man, y'all know this is a cookout, but you say that catfish, we ain't supposed to be eating it. And if everybody jump down your throat, just, oh, okay, well, cool, bet, right? Verse 14, and whosoever shall not receive you nor hear your words, right? Because the Most High hates when people waste the time of the Israelites. He hates that because instead of being on the phone with you in your house, in your garage, in your car, doing all this time and time again, we the other Israelites, we could have been somewhere else, right? And whosoever shall not receive you nor hear your words, when you depart out of that house or city, shake the dust off your feet. He didn't say go back and keep calling them, shoot them an email, send them a text. Hey, bro, you still doing this? Sister, you still? Nah, he said, nah, just forget it. Forget about it. Keep it moving, right? Verse 15, verily I say unto you, it shall be more tolerable for the land of Sodom and Gomorrah in the day of judgment than for that city. Now, he talking about the house, everything. Whoever was in that house, that goes to man, woman, and child. So hopefully the man not wicked, right? So they's going around with the word. The word heals, right? Now see right there in context, the Most High really said, hey, nah, one time. If they ain't gonna receive, let your peace return unto you. Or you got the option of saying, nah, bro, well, I'm good. They all in here wicked. I see what they doing, the spirit. They all got the Jezebel, Cardi B, Meg Thee Stallion spirit, Sexy Red spirit. It's a wrap for them, right? It's a wrap for them. Now let me get into that. Matter of fact, and we're gonna stay in the New Testament. I had some in my head that I was gonna go to the Old Testament. We're gonna stay in the New Testament, right? And matter of fact, we're gonna prove that the law is still standing. This is what he's talking about. Let's stay in the New Testament. We're gonna go to Titus, right? We'll go to Titus chapter 3. Matter of fact, I'm going to get right to it. Titus 3:10, right? And here's one right here, right? A man that is a heretic after the first and second admonition reject. Right? So he said if he's a heretic after the first and second. That's why I said we really don't supposed to tell you once, but if they tell you twice, like, yo, it's a wrap. I ain't got to keep answering your emails, your texts, your phone calls, none of that. So the fact if the brothers and the sisters out here, if you done ran into like a righteous Israelite, right? Because I know it's some wicked ones out here, right? But if you done ran into a righteous one and he constantly and he steady back, man, hey, you supposed to count that out joy because he don't have to be, right? Matter of fact, let's get into that because so people can understand what that is, right? Let's get into that, right? So watch this. So a man that is a heretic, right? Now check this out, right? He's schismatic, right? Factitious, a follower of false doctrine. This is the New Testament. The false doctrine is saying that the law is done away. We're going to finna cover that. That's a false doctrine. So he's saying if you run into a man who is a follower of false doctrine, who is not following the law, that's what he's getting into, right? See, a follower of false doctrine is what he get into, right? Let's go back to it. So a man that is a follower of false doctrine, so a man who's not following the law, because this is what we're doing. We're telling y'all we got to still keep it. After the first and second admonition, reject. So after I tell you, hey, we can't eat that pork. You can't eat that lobster. You can't do this. So we know, people say, how do you know if this person keeping the law? We know by your works. Remember, the scriptures say we prove our faith to Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah by our works. We're going to get there. I'm going to stay in the New Testament, right? So get that. So that's where, this is two places where it says one, Matthew 10, that's one time. But here he's like, look, first, second, okay, cool. After that second time, that's his personal choice, right? Verse 11, knowing that he is such, knowing that he that is such is subverted and sinned. So remember, I just broke that down that a heretic is someone who's not following the law, right? And matter of fact, I could even go up in verse 9 and talks about the law as well, right? Verse 11, knowing that he that is such is subverted and sinned, being condemned of himself. So this is the New Testament. He's saying, look, this person who you going back and forth with, he sinned, right? So what is sin? I know everybody know this one by heart, right? 1 John 3 and 4. So we got to say, wait, it's one who sinned. Well, what is sin? Whosoever committed sin transgresseth also the law. This is the New Testament. Yahweh Shah, the Lord, was already dead, right? For sin is transgression of the law, right? So let's go back to that, right? Titus 3:10, right? A man that is a heretic, follower of false doctrine, who not keeping the law after the first and second admonition reject, knowing that he that is such is subverted and sinned, meaning he break the law, right? He not keeping the law, being condemned of himself, right? So you see how that ties in, right? So we can tell and we can know. He telling us when you go out and teach this word and you coming to the people, this is the New Testament for so-called Christians. And you see that and he say, look, you know they ain't keeping the law. You give it to them once. If you want to give it to them twice, he's saying, cool. But after that, reject it. So if they ignore your calls, they stop talking to you, you don't get mad at the Israelite brothers because of that. I get some of the emails and all that. They keeping the law. They doing what Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah told them to do. They gave it to you twice. You got to do the work, right? Matter of fact, let's stay in Titus. Let's stay in the New Testament, right? Titus 1, I'm just get right to it. 16, right? Really 14 through 16. 1 and 16, I get right to it. They profess that they know Yahweh, but in works they deny him. Works means keeping the law. Being abominable, right? And disobedient, and unto every good work reprobate. Now they say you got a reprobate mind. I mean, you ain't keeping the law. This is the book of Titus. They profess they know Yahweh, but in their works, I'm saved. I love the Lord. But you just had a ham sandwich. It don't work that way, right? Matter of fact, let's get this, and I'll just bring it out real quick. I want to just get in and out, right? I believe that's in James. We'll stay in the New Testament, right? We just talked about works and all that. Look, James 2, I'll get right to it, right? And 17. Even so, faith, if it had not works, is dead being alone. This is New Testament. This is cut to every Christian. This is James, right? If you just say, I got faith, you are dead alone. Where are your works? That don't mean keeping the 10 commandments. We just covered that in Titus. He's talking about the whole law. He was describing to the disciples, right? And even for us in this end times, when you go out and they ain't keeping the law, you gonna know they keeping the law by what? By their works, right? Because that's what the Most High said. I love those who love me. And we prove we love him by our works. Yes, you got to have faith, but by your works. I always say this all the time. So the brothers can understand it, because that's who I'm really talking to, the brothers, right? What your girl always say? Yeah, you can say this, and I love you, and this, and this, and this. Man, where your actions? You saying that, but you ain't paid for now dinner. You don't pay for the movies when we go out. You drop me off at work in my car. You don't pay the rent. You don't pay the mortgage, gas, like this. You don't do nothing. Where your works at? You ain't did Nathaniel. Where your works? You ain't took off work and just said, I'm going to spend time with you. You ain't flew me out. None of that. All right. Verse 18. Yeah, a man may say thou hast faith. This is for the Christians and the Romans and the people in Corinthia and Galatia and Ephesia back then. Remember, they were mixing in the worship of Zeus, right? At the altar of Pergamos. I'm going to get that. They was mixing in the worship of Zeus back in with the Hebrews, like a bunch of so-called black people, Negroes, if you will, right? Here in America, they now, I know we God's people. I know we the Hebrews, but they still walking into those churches and calling on white Jesus. They still doing it. They're mixing it in. They're trying to, they want to appease everybody. No, the letter J did not exist until 500 years ago this year, 1524, right? So Yahushua, this is his real name. His name could not have been Jesus. It's impossible. It didn't exist anywhere on the earth. So you see how it's delusional. But this is what happens when we don't keep the law. Let me get back into it though. James 2 and 18. Yeah, a man might say, thou hast faith, Christians, and I have works. Show me your faith without thy works. So this is James saying, show me your faith without no works, and I will show you my faith by my works. Because that's what the Most High requires. He said, I love those who love me. And he was talking about the Israelites, right? He said, so if you love me, yeah. Why you ain't keeping the Sabbath? Why you ain't keep atonement? Why you ain't fasting? Why you say you love me, but why you dressing up in your ugly Christmas sweater and doing Halloween and Thanksgiving and Christmas and Valentine's Day, but you say you're an Israelite? This is for the brother. These are the ones who the Most High say he hates the most. You come into the knowledge of the truth and then you run back into them churches. You run back to doing those pagan holidays. He said they're going to get it the worst. Them the worst ones. Right? So with that, I'll go right back to Titus just to close it out, right? A man that is a heretic, right? Follower of a false doctrine, a Jewish fable, right? Saying the Lord, matter of fact, I'm going to get that, right? Is a heretic after the first and second admonition, reject 2 times. That's it. I could talk to you at 9 a.m. and talk to you again at 4 in the afternoon. That's all I'm required to do by Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. That's it. Now, do most of us brothers, at least all the brothers I know deal with, right? All the Akims I know deal with, do we actually do that? No, man, we answer the same question over and over and over and over, right? We preach the truth in season and out of season. That's the Most High say that's the best time to do it. I'm roughly paraphrasing. He said the best time to tell a person you're not supposed to celebrate Thanksgiving is right now. Why? Because now you're going to be held accountable. I can't wait until that day and then tell you, or the day after then tell you. No, if I tell you right now, guess what? You got 4, 5, 6 months before that comes. Now the Most High, he going to hold you accountable. All right? So, matter of fact, let's go right back to that. right? Titus 1, right there at the end. They profess that they know Yahweh, but in works, meaning in keeping the law, they deny him. Right? Matter of fact, right here. Not giving heed to Jewish fables. See the word Jewish? Ish. We've been at war with these people. Herod and all that way back then. During the Maccabean period, they've been coming into our temples, taking our Bible, painting white Jesus in there. But back then it was Zeus. Same thing today. They've been doing this. We've been at war with these people for thousands of years. Thousands. They've been doing this, right? Not giving heed to Jewish fables and commandments of men. What's the commandment of man, right? Everybody off for Christmas. Everybody off for Thanksgiving. Everybody off for 4th of July. 4th of July. It's a lie, right? So we're not giving heed to Jewish fables and the commandments of men that turn from the truth. The word truth, biblical definition, means law. So you see how he's saying, look, don't give heed to that. They telling you that the law is done away, but you gonna keep the commandments of men, right? This is what he's saying. Unto the pure, all things are pure, right? Talking about the Israelites. Those of us who like, look, yo, unto the pure, all things are pure, right? But unto them that are defiled and unbelieving is nothing pure. An example, I could say, hey, sister, I know you ain't gonna want to hear this because you know you got your jeans painted on tight like a Coke bottle. But you ain't supposed to be wearing those blue jeans like that. It's gonna to the unbelieving, because you know they believe because they'll be keeping the law. It's gonna sound unnatural. What, man? You can't tell me I can't do what? Pfft, man, please. Right? So it ain't gonna make sense to them. But even their mind and conscience is defiled, right? Matter of fact, that goes into in Isaiah, I'm gonna roughly paraphrase it, but it says they have their conscience seared with a hot iron, right? It's seared, meaning, you know, you meet somebody and you say, look, they're gone. This is what most of us say about like those who are walking into the Roman Catholic Christian church, they're gone. They're gone. They're gone. They could go in there and they're under witchcraft. They're under a spell. The law is done away. Your pastor taking building fund. He taking tithes. He taking offerings. He taking all these different, but that's an Old Testament law. I mean, it's anyway. Nevertheless, matter of fact, that's up in here too. That's up in here too. Matter of fact, let me get that and we're gonna close out. Well, right here. Matter of fact, we're gonna stay right here, right? We're gonna stay right here. Titus 1:7, right? For a bishop must be blameless, right? And a steward of Yahweh, not self-willed, not soon angry, not given to wine. That given to wine, that don't mean can't. A lot of people don't understand that. That don't mean, oh, you're supposed to drink. No, that mean when we get into that, it means you ain't supposed to be falling all over, drunk, etc., right? That's why Yahweh, right? That's why the Lord said in the New Testament, he said, you look, y'all call me a wine bibber. Like, they like, look, you ain't supposed to be drinking. They trying to find something to hold them guilty. But he's like, bruh, I ain't falling over, stumbling, drunk and all that. Like, when you come home from work, don't you sit down and have you a little glass of bourbon, a little glass of whiskey? Now, am I supposed to be white boy wasted? Like Gucci Man say, wake up in the morning, 10 o'clock, drinking, stumbling? No, that's what he's talking about, all right? Nor striker, nor given to filthy liquor. Now, here's another cut. Let's get into this. This is your Christian pastor, right? And this is some of these leaders of these camp organizations, right? I tell people all the time, man, look, when the Israelites are in power, the whole world rejoice. Look at that, right? Eager for base gain, greedy for money. I tell people all the time, the real men of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shah, the Lord, man, we not rich. You think I could be worth $200 million, 150? You think I could be worth all of that? And there's still one person in Israel. I use an example for America. And there's still one Negro that's struggling with their rent, et cetera, et cetera. No, it don't work that way, right? So if you got any leader, any teacher, anything, and they worked, for an example, there's 45 million so-called African Americans, right? So-called Negroes in America. Think about this. If he's worth 50, 100 million, think of Jay-Z, Lil Wayne, Beyonce, some of these mega churches, especially all of them in Dallas and Houston and New York and LA, Oprah Winfrey, all of them, they don't care like the scriptures say. There's only 45 million of us here. They got enough money to give everybody $20,000 each. I could say $1 million each because most of them worth 100 million. They got enough money to give every last one of them $1 million. And they still have over $50 million left in their pocket. Why haven't they ever done it? Now think about your leaders. Think about TD Jakes, TD Snakes. Think about the heathen leaders who people follow. Joel Osteen and all this other dude, this other pastor who wicked too. Got devil all in his eyes. The black pastor, everybody posting with the bald head who telling the lady in the choir to shut up and we ain't gonna do that and all that. He wicked too. Multi-millionaire. They could take care of everybody like the scriptures say. That's what tithing is supposed to be for. Why haven't they done it? Because the Most High is not with him. That's what he's saying. So let's go back to it, right? If you out here giving this truth, verse 7, right? For a bishop must be blameless, right? As the steward of Yahweh, not self-willed, not soon angry, not giving the wine, right? No striker, not giving. You ain't supposed to worry about money, and you ain't supposed to be rich. So with that, look, hopefully you brothers, few sisters have been edified. Shalom.